Hey y'all, I'm Aeon.
And I'm the Lioness.
And you're listening to Box number 512 podcast.
Grown Black Trans Woman Talk. Changing your world one conversation at a time.
The show begins now. Hey y'all, welcome to another installment of Box number 512 podcast, Grown Black Trans Woman Talk. I am your co-host Aeon.
And I'm the Lioness. How y'all feeling?
So let's get into updates. We took a little week off. We hope you enjoyed the episode talking about the meaning of Mariah. It was a very fun episode for us to record over the summer. We definitely had to take a break. What have I been up to? Just still trying to get adjusted to my job. I have a lot of research projects I'm working on that have been overwhelming. Got a couple of filings coming up, so just trying to get through that. I kind of fallen off with my exercise routine. So originally, I was trying to switch up my exercise routine. Instead of doing the workouts like I've been doing the past couple of months, I really want to get into yoga. Only because I'm not as flexible as I want to be.
Right.
And I like how yoga, I like how hot and sweaty I am after a session, but I like the idea of me becoming like more flexible in my body in different positions. I kind of fell off in September only because I was doing a lot of running around and winding stuff down with my job. And in September, 3 of the weekends out of the month, I was out of town. I was either back in Baltimore handling stuff for family, and then I was in Dallas for Labor Day. So it kind of threw off my workout routine. And then with me starting this new job, it's kind of been a challenge for me to just get back into the rhythm of that, especially with doing this new yoga journey or whatever it's looking like. But I'm just giving myself permission to not be so hard on myself if I miss a couple of days and just to try to fit stuff in where I can, because like I said, I do want to be more flexible in my body and I do want to develop a yoga routine. So I'm on that journey. I have a couple of trips planned coming up. I'm going to Texas for a private project, which I'm really excited about. Hopefully I can give more details at a later date. Like I said, on the last time we recorded, I'm going to Las Vegas. Me and my mom are going together. One of my old uncles, he's actually turning 70. So I think I said he was turning 60 or 65, but he's actually turning 70 years old. So going there with my mom. I just booked a trip to Atlanta in December because we got some different things that we're trying to do for the podcast. So we definitely have some stuff in the works. So I'll be down there in Atlanta. I'm also going to New York for my birthday. I just got tickets to go to this play, Confessions of a Colored Man. So I'm really excited about doing that. I'm getting the Airbnb just to have a different experience. Usually I get a hotel when I go to New York, but I want the Airbnb experience just so I can be in different neighborhoods. But I'm just trying to prepare for the future and just trying to have fun. I know at the top of next year, me and my cousin want to do like an international trip, so we're planning for that. But I'm just looking forward to having fun, being financially free, paying off these credit cards. Dating has been before I turn it over to you, sis, a couple of announcements. One, for the trans attracted / trans amorous men, stop pursuing pre-op or non-op trans women and you don't like so much bird. Let's stop wasting everybody's time. Like if you know you don't want to do it, stop wasting our time. That's one. And two, like the hardest thing I'm finding about dating men is like, I don't want to meet your representative. Like, I want to get to know you. I want to get a sense of the real you. And it's so hard the more I come across men and they're so performative in their masculinity And then when I tell them that I'm not feeling them or it doesn't feel authentic, just the ways in which they react to me in very nasty ways. So like they end up interacting with these men and trying to really get to the heart of what they really mean, what they say. This has been hard, but all I can do is just open myself up to the experience, not take it personal, and just when it's time for me to connect with the right person, I'll connect with the right person. But I'm just not here. Like I said, I don't want to meet your representative. I want to meet you. I want to experience you. You don't have to love bomb me to get my attention. You don't have to try to make yourself like you seem so woke to get my attention. You don't have to, just be yourself and give me the option to decide if I want to engage with the real you. But a lot of y'all are not going to do that, and it's fine. But God bless me with the spirit of discernment. And with that, I will turn it over to you, sis. How are you doing? What are your updates?
Oh, wow, wow, wow. So that's a big act to follow, girl. You gave a great sharing there, particularly the part about your dating and these men and the tangle webs they weave. But no, so my week has been very, very good. This has been a very, very good week for me business wise. I've been able to get a couple of new consultancies going, and that feels really, really good. That I'm able to do my thug thizzle behind the scenes in the middle of this COVID pandemic. Also, I was accepted into another cohort. Details to be released later. I don't want to go into the specifics now, but that's exciting. There's also been some grant opportunities that have come out that have been coming up that I've been looking at, and I'm just excited. I'm excited about the future and what it has to hold. In this last week, I can't remember if we've done another podcast since I've come back from Florida. But we went to Florida to check on my mother-in-law this last week, and also just to go and have some family time, some family bonding time. It was actually wonderful. I enjoyed myself immensely with family. Of course, family is family, but I will say that I think that everybody did their best to try to make it a wonderful experience. And particularly for me, going to see my in-laws, even though it's been pretty good for quite a while now, there's still those triggering memories. So I'm glad to know that it went exceptionally well. I would like to give a shout out to my sister Toya. I've been enjoying you lately, girl. That's all I'm gonna say. I also want to acknowledge her name is I think it's Taja Khan. If I'm saying that correctly. She is a trans activist and warrior, national trans activist and warrior that has passed away. And the circumstances have not been discussed, but I wanted to speak her name in this moment because it is reverberating here in the Atlanta community in particular. I don't know the specifics on where she is actually from, but I know that she has been an advocate here for a while, and she's made her presence felt. And so her loss will be something that we will feel in community. And I just wanted to take that moment to speak her name. Also, in just current events in my life, I want to go on. I was just thinking, so as you were talking about, your travels and things, I want to go on a trip somewhere, but I don't know where I want to go. So I was looking up flights today on the computer, and I've been just trying to figure out what it's going to look like. But I'm feeling stir crazy, and I don't know if this is the best time. I don't know will there ever be a good time in the place that we're in now. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just feeling like travel. So y'all stay tuned. The Lioness is trying to be on the moon, so we'll see what we see. I'm ready to get into this episode, girl. This is going to be juicy.
So y'all know, before we get into our main topic, gotta do some housekeeping. Please be sure if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts to rate this 5 stars and give us a review. We really appreciate it, and it helps other people to find our podcast. Also, announcement time. So we will be doing videos exclusively for our Patreon. We're going to be doing episode reviews of Chasing Reality's Just Lauren. Unofficial, this is just us, but we kind of feel like because this is a trans story, and I can already tell that the episodes are probably going to require a deep dive with a Black trans feminine perspective to really unpack everything. It'll be an opportunity to share our stories. So if you're not now, please make sure you go on over to our Patreon page. The show links, the link to our Patreon page will be in the show notes for our show. So you can go and become a top tier Patreon so that when we release the episodes towards the end of this month, that you all will be able to follow with us and get access to those exclusive videos that are only for our Patreon. So like I said, we're trying to think of new content to create for our Patreon. We kind of took a break from that because we were doing a lot of stuff this summer, but be on the lookout for our Just Lauren reviews. And I don't think we have no other announcements. Just make sure y'all are sharing our podcast and talking about our podcast. And like I said, we have a lot of stuff that we're planning. Y'all will just see it when it's time to see it. Now, turning over to our topic for today, we are very blessed to be joined by a special guest. I see big things for this lady. I'm honored to know her. I'm so happy that when I asked her to come on the show, she made time in her very, very, very busy schedule to come down to the Box Number 5 Soul podcast to sit down and speak with us and really talk about her journey and the different things that she's working on for the future. So without further ado, Mariah Moore, come on down, girl. Let's have this conversation.
Yay!
Welcome.
The lady herself is in the building. It's so exciting to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So I guess just to start this, but hold on, before we start this off, just so I can set the tone, I know we are all professional women on this call and we can be very stush on this call, but we about to have a down home sister girl call. I went to New Orleans in May of this year, and I just have to give a shout out to Miss Mariah Moore because she treated me like you're supposed to treat somebody when they come to your town. Aww. We had a good time. Like, she made the last 2 days of and it was totally unexpected because I thought I was going to come down. And you know me, I'm very well, I'm going to plan this out and I'm going to have this day. And I did plan to have dinner with you and we were going to get together and get something to eat. But me and my sis Paige went out to the club and then we bumped into you at one of the clubs. And all I know is we hopped from place to place to place. You showed me your New Orleans, which is what I live for when I go to other people's cities. Like, I want to see the city from your point of view. And the highlight of my trip was eating fried catfish outside the club at 4 a.m. with all of the queens and the butch. Like, I felt like I was one of the girls, even though I wasn't from down there. So and then the next day we went out to eat and you showed me everything. So I just want to give you your props for that's how you do it when somebody comes to your town and you treated me like you know me forever. And I felt comfortable. I felt like I was at home, and I'm just thank you so much for that, girl. That was like one of the highlights of my year, getting to meet you and just being able to be in New Orleans and experience the city. So I just want to say thank you for that, girl. I really you are really you know how sometimes you meet the girls with like a platform and you really can't get into like the soul look. Like, I felt that from you from the first minute, and you don't feel that with a lot of girls. So I say thank you for that. But tell us who you are, where are you from? I already said it, and a little bit about what you do, just to introduce the audience to you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So Mariah Moore. I'm from New Orleans. I am one of the co-founders and executive directors of House of Tulip. I am also a senior national organizer at Transgender Law Center. Also a political candidate for New Orleans City Council, District D here in New Orleans. Election is November 13th. Also, before any of that, grassroots organizer here in the city. And before that, I was just one of the girls, honey, sex working my way to the top.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, sis.
No. I was gonna say yes. We've been in some spaces for quite a while, and so you have really been a wonderful advocate for community. And one of the questions I like to ask people that have committed their heart to service is who raised you? Who gave you that inspiration to be the woman that you are today? This woman that could have taken her advantages in life and still made a contribution to the world, still made a difference, but not necessarily in this community. That's not something that is very common in our day and time, that a lot of girls will bring their energy back to the place that nurtured them. So I would love to know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, no. So I come from a decent family. However, like many of our families, we go through struggles. Some of those struggles involved me being placed in foster care from the age of 12 to 17. And then I was released from foster care prematurely, meaning I didn't age out of foster care. I was released. It's typically, a lot of times, that's what happens to youth. They are released, especially in states that consider you an adult at 17, even 16 in some cases. And so I was released, and then, I've been on my own ever since. But, our community, Black trans women raised me. They, that was my first example of love. They saw me before I saw myself, and helped guide me through this very violent, uncertain life, right? And so, the way and the reason why I decided to give my life or devote my life to service is because it wasn't until I lost my life that I realized what my purpose was, right? Until I almost lost my life involved in survival sex work, right? Trying to keep a roof over my head, trying to keep food in my stomach, trying to keep clothes on my back, right? And I was, I came face to face with death, right? And after that, I said, you know what? No more, right? I think that there is more, and we can create opportunities, right? And it is our duty, as grown women, as women who are aging so beautifully and gracefully, it is our duty to do the work to ensure that, we make it to those golden years, and that, our generations that are coming after us don't have to experience what we experience, right? We've heard some of the horror stories from the 60s and 70s and 80s, right? And, it does get better, but it's still not good enough, right? And so for me, it's about creating and showing up in the world and representing us in the very best way to create safe spaces.
That was dope, sister. That was dope. That was awesome to hear. So yes, I love so much of what you said. I want to have a brief follow-up question before I turn you back over to Brianna. I believe in the adage, to whom much is given, much is required. And I see that you do as well. And you talked about how there were women in your community that poured into you, and you talked about the love and the nurturing. Do you feel, this is just in your honest opinion as a leader, as someone that is doing the work now, do you feel that this younger generation has access to that kind of love that we experienced from that previous generation? If so, that's fine. But if not, what do you think needs to happen for that to happen? Because I feel, this is my opinion, I probably shouldn't give my opinion in advance, but I feel that there is a lack there. What do you think?
I think there is, but I think that there is a disconnect. I think that we have gotten to a space where when gender identity, right? Our transness used to be one or two things, right? It was either you were or you weren't.
Okay.
Get into it. That's when you're talking real now.
We've gotten to a place where, gender is fluid and self-expression is real and it's beautiful and it's a beautiful thing. But I think for a lot of us, right? And even for the youngest of the last of our generation, right? We're still in a place where we have never forgotten what it once was like not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, we try, and I try to connect with the youth of this time, of these generations that are coming up. But it's very hard because, every day it's changing. Every day it's changing. And I've never been in that space where I'm constantly changing and I've always only been a woman. And so I've never been non-binary. I've never identified as such. And so not saying that, I can't pour into someone who is non-binary or who says, I don't want to be labeled a trans woman. Call me a femme. That's fine. But there is a wall up there that I've experienced from our younger generations that kind of resent the binary parts of it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Box Number 512 Podcast, Grown Black Trans Women Talk.
And don't forget to become a patron on the Box Number 512 Patreon page, where we have all new exclusive content.
And also, don't forget to follow us on our social media, on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. And also, become a subscriber on our YouTube page. Until next time, bye.